Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation on providing a flipped classroom for the Industrial Technology Department of Elkhorn Public Schools. I really believe participating in a flipped classroom will maximize the hands-on learning in the Industrial Technology Department. This will allow our students to work in our shop areas as we require in our curriculum and spend their time at home completing tasks that can be done individually, leading to extra time in the shop areas with teacher instructions, using tools, using processes, and maximizing their learning. Before we get into the details of the process, I'd like to give you an overview of our department. For the Industrial Technology Department at Elkhorn Public Schools, we will, starting next year, be 3 high schools, including Elkhorn High School, Elkhorn South High School, and Elkhorn North High School, which is opening in the fall of 2020. When the cycle starts, we will have 5 middle schools, which is Elkhorn Middle School, Elkhorn Ridge Middle School, Elkhorn Valley View, Elkhorn Grandview, and middle school number 5, which will be opening in the fall of 2021. When these schools are all open and running, we will have 10.5 teachers total, 5.5 at the high schools and 5 at the middle schools. Our high school courses include CAD, which is computer-aided drafting and design, residential construction, small engines, welding, and woodworking. These are all hands-on project-oriented classes and would require students to use class time to create projects, whether on the computer or through material processing. Middle school curriculum currently it consists of PITSCO, which is hands-on module stations, requiring the students to complete tasks, make projects during their class period. Currently, our district does have one-to-one access with Chromebooks for students in grades 6 through 12. So there is the ability to allow students to work one-on-one with Chromebooks as they do their homework, flipped classroom homework at home before they come to class. Now, a flipped classroom, there's plenty of research on this, what it looks like. In my short presentation this afternoon, I can't get too into depth, but I would be more than happy to answer questions at a future date. There are some pitfalls and there are some pros of a flipped classroom. Common pitfalls, of course, are students new to the methods, maybe resistance because of the nature of the work done at home. Homework must be carefully tailored with the students so they can use it in the classroom to make it useful. However, the lure of a flipped classroom outnumbers them by far, where students can move at their own pace. Doing homework in class gives the teachers insight into learning how the students are progressing. Teachers can update and customize curriculum. Classroom time can be used more creatively, which is the goal of our industrial technology classroom, to allow the students the time they need to be more creative and productive with the shop areas and the tools and processes available there. So a flipped classroom, if you look at the flow chart, there are pros, cons. The pros definitely outweigh the cons as long as it's done in a productive nature. Now, this also fits into our Elkhorn instructional model. It seems kind of counterintuitive, thinking about the flipped classroom when we focus on the I do it, we do it, you do it together, you do it alone. Because the I do it now becomes something the students do at home. The reason this works, though, is because in the I do it stage, they are observing a teacher, whether that be through a lecture delivery, video delivery, textbook reading delivery. That is something where the students are absorbing from an outside source. So now instead of that I do it being done in the classroom, it can be done through video, through readings, through slideshows, whatever technology is available. That I do it can be something that is done at home. So now when students come to the classroom, we actually start at the we do it stage, where the teacher can use the students' preconceived knowledge of what they learned the night before, the afternoon before, and how it affects what they're going to do that day. And then we do it together. And then finally, our focus, where we want our students to be, is the you do it alone, through the independent learning, the independent process, where still formative assessment matters. And we need to make sure the students are, even though they're doing it alone, we need to make sure they understand and are doing it correctly. So allowing the I do it at home to create more time for the you do it alone in class gives the teacher and the student more time to realize how far they actually are advancing in the curriculum material. Some examples that we could use this for: safety units and tests, tool procedures, measurements, project steps. These are areas that can be done through video the night before, give the students a good basis of understanding, so then when they show up to class the next day, they're able to utilize that in a creative way and complete the hands-on tasks that we have our shop set up to do. So this video is one I completed for a SketchUp intro, something that could be used in our CAD classrooms. It's about a 9-minute video that goes through the basic tools of Google SketchUp, goes through the processes of creating a new file, saving, how a student would draw a basic figure, where if a student were to watch this the night before and follow along when we met in class the following day, they would have a good understanding about what SketchUp is, how to use the basic tools. So as I asked them to create their own drawing, that class time would be better served as they create their own project and they are doing something on their own, being creative and advancing in their subject area knowledge. So these are just a few examples, many more, but some of the quick, easy ones that would be set up from day one. Now, cost versus funding. This is an issue that always is of concern. Talking to a department coworker who has had experience in video production and has produced videos of his own in the past, he has actually provided a quote to our school district where he quoted approximately $1,000 per module. Now in our middle school areas, we have 3 grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Each grade level would require 3 modules, so 9 modules is $9,000. In our high school level, of course, these classes are more in depth, there's more offerings. There would be a total of 45 modules. Now these modules explain the daily procedures for the students. 45 modules would equate to about $45,000. Now this does seem like an expensive price tag, $54,000. However, in our curriculum renewal, something that we do every 7 years as we advance through our curriculum and consider new updates, adding, subtracting. Our previous curriculum renewal cycle 6 years ago, we were allowed $150,000 for curriculum materials. So $54,000 is substantially less than the $150,000 that was provided during our last cycle. Now, the way the cycle works, just as a refresher, our curriculum is reviewed on a 7-year cycle. It does include a research phase with teacher committees where we look at best practices. We look at how the current curriculum fits into those best practices. We review new material and make a decision on how we want to go forward. Now, we are currently in our year of review, so the module videos would be created during this year and would be completed and available for the start of the 2021 school year, which would actually synchronize with the opening of our new middle school number 5, meaning that every middle school, every high school would start on day 1 with this new flipped classroom material that would allow students to use their time in our classrooms more productively. Outlook, what it would look like when it's all said and done is most importantly, students will have an increase in the amount of time working in our shop areas. This will be practicing the skills they have learned. It will be using their skills they have learned to create new items, to have a chance to be productive with their skills. Students will have a greater opportunity to apply what they have learned. Shop areas would be utilized to display student learning and meeting of learning goals. We promote our learning goals every day. These are posted on the board. This would give our students a chance to show teachers and anybody who walks into our classrooms what they have actually done with those learning goals, what they can do, what they can make, what skills they have gained in our classroom and shop areas. And lastly, and not something that should be overlooked, is that instructors, we can actually identify the students in need of the additional help. There are some students who are able to watch a video, read a chapter in a book, and apply it on their own and advance and move on. However, there are many students who, after reading a chapter in a book or watching a video, still need extra help. So this would help our instructors to identify quickly what students need that extra help so they can make sure those students don't fall behind, and at the same time not hold back the students who are able to move ahead at their own pace. So overall, using a flipped classroom in the industrial technology department would help us achieve many of our goals, building-wise, district-wise, educational-wise, allowing students to be creative, move at their own pace, support students that need help, and take the chains off the students that are ready to move on. So thank you for your time this afternoon. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.